There we go. Live back. What's going on, peoples? It was just a fun topic that I had for today. So if you're gonna come in, keep it clean. Don't argue. We don't want no static. We don't want no static, homies. I'm trying to get my there we go. Trying to get hello, who's in here? Anybody in here? Bro, I didn't ask for that. Hello. Why can't I? Oh, I have to. Can somebody type something in? Because I'm trying to see why somebody type something in, because I just tried to type something in and it did not pop up. So anyway, we up for a debate. Let's keep it clean. No, nothing nasty, but we were just talking about this last live, so I figured, like, briefly we touched on this about, money making you happy. I want to hear what you think and why you feel that way, because I've been on both sides of it, and I can tell you that money didn't make me happy. Making a six-figure paycheck did not make me happy for long. Why are my chats? I agree. Hey, Elaine, how you doing? Jamie, hey, welcome to the chat. I agree. Happiness is an inside job. I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I'm gonna have to look at the comments on my phone because I'm using my iPad today, and it's not looking great. But yeah, I agree with that. Happiness is an inside job. Like, I'm all right. I'm a little tired. I look crazy, don't I? Like, I just came back from the pool. Yo, from England. Oh, welcome across the pond. High five and fist bump to you, homie. Great. Glad for you to be here. But I just look crazy because I just came from the pool, right? So don't judge me. I just came from the pool and I put on some dry clothes because I was hungry. I was like, okay, I need to eat something. And then I got stuff to do, so I'm going to be running around getting sweaty. I was like, it made no point to take a shower at the moment. So once I'm back in for the day, I'll be glad to wash all this chlorine off of me. But good workout today. It was great. I loved it. So no judgment for me. Thank you. I am in North Carolina. I am in North Kakalaki, the U.S. But that's cool. You're all the way in England. That's it. Yeah, everything's good. But Bimmel, everything's good. Why do you ask? Like, everything, like, I hope everything's great with you, dude. Like, I hope everything's good with you. Yeah, man. Like, I just been making these lives a thing because I enjoy them. Razor Blade, what's going on, peoples? I'm great. Why is everybody asking me that? I just look crazy because I just came from the pool. Kania, how are you guys? How are you guys doing? I don't look sad as. Do I look sad as hell? Chat. Do I look sad as hell? No, I'm not sad at all. This is my face. I'm ugly. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not sad at all. Yeah, I'm good. I appreciate it, Kania. I appreciate it. Thank you. High five and fist bump. I appreciate it. Thank you. No, I'm good. I'm great. Like let me. As a matter of fact, like, thank you, Ms. Elaine. You went to France. I like hit the border of France back when I was in the military. I hit like the border of France, and then we turned around. Like, but it is 11:30 a.m. right now. Is there a sub in okay? What do you mean? Like, you want to sub to the channel? Hey, you're more than welcome to sub to the channel. Sorry, I'm new at this, so I don't understand the lingo like that. So I apologize if I don't get exactly what you're saying. But yeah, it's 11:30 in the morning here. It's 11:30 in the morning here. Like I said, I just came back from my workout, which is at the pool. Thank you, like, you are already? Were you already? But thank you if you're saying you just did. I appreciate it. That's awesome. I'm trying to make this a thing, man. I'm trying to grow. Like, there's some things that I really want to do. Thank you. And hey guys, if you coming in, you enjoy the likes, you enjoy the content so far, please drop a like on the chat. Oh, you're 4:30. I figured what you meant. Like, my brother was stationed in England a few years back, and so I want to say it's like a 6-hour time difference, something like that. Alexander, hey, welcome to the chat. High five and fist bump to you, homie. But yeah, so it's a 6-hour difference. Like, England's always someplace I want to go. People, yeah, it's 11:30 for me here too, Kenia. People always say, like, what part of North Carolina I'm in? I'm in the Piedmont section. Much love to you, Bimbo. Bimbo. Davey. Sorry if I butcher your name. I do apologize. But yeah, I'm in the Piedmont section. Oh, that's the Piedmont section, the Sandhill section. I'm in the Sandhill section. No doubt, Alexander. No doubt. But we just here, I'm trying to make this a thing and trying to make these lives, Oh, where was my brother stationed? He just said England. I'm not sure. Bimbo, you're from India. Wow. Hell yeah. I'm in North Carolina, the U.S. India in the house. There's a lot of creators in India. Davi, are you a creator? Do you create content too? I know, like, I've recently seen that there are a lot of, like, a big influx of creators on YouTube now. That's awesome. I like to see, as long as I can understand it, I like to see what other cultures do and stuff like that. Like, that's awesome to me. I'm not familiar with the Midlands at all. I mean, with the Midlands or England at all, Jamie. I'm not. Oh, it's a county? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar. I've never been. I've always wanted to go, but I've never been. But ironically, like, people tell me every time I say, oh man, I want to go see England and London specifically, and people are like, oh, that's a dirty city. Why would you want to go there? But I mean, so is New York, and people want to. That's where I'm from originally, and people want to see that all the time too. They're like, oh, I want to go there. But how's everybody's day doing? How's everybody's what's going on for y'all today? In case y'all wondering, I am what I call economically retired. So I'm a full-time content creator, and so this is what I do, and amongst some other small things I do, but um, this is what I do. So that's why I'm home at 11:30 a.m. in the morning. I should go there. So, Davi, you said my house looks like heaven. Well, thank you, my little humble abode. Thank you. I'm very proud of it. Thank you so much. And you're not a content creator, but I'm thinking about. You should. You should. You should. That'd be very interesting. And Jamie, I should go. You've been there like 15 times, like to London. You saying? I want to go. Like, okay, so let me say something. Like, I'm like terrified of flying. Like, and I used to. I've done it like a few dozen times. I was in the military, so I traveled. I traveled several times, but as I got older, just the anxiety about flying just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So, like, it's something that I have to overcome. You want to see? Sure, I don't mind. I give you a tour. This is the living room. That's my kitchen over there. It's only in one bedroom. That's my messy ass office space. Don't judge it. It's messy. And then, so that's my kitchen. So you can see, small ass kitchen. And then this is. Don't jump, mom. Look, I'm not afraid to show you because I don't care. Like, I know I'm not the only one with a messy bedroom at the moment, but don't judge me because I haven't made my bed or nothing like that. So, yeah, my room is messy. I don't care. I know I'm not the only one with a messy bedroom. And then I'm not going to show you the bathroom because who wants to see a bathroom? But, yeah. So that's the apartment. And if you stick around long enough, we're going to be moving into a bigger apartment at the end of the month, at the end of September. It's like an hour and a half drive from your house, Jamie. That's pretty awesome. I hear London is like New York in the sense that it's very diverse, which I think is awesome. It's one of the things that I love about New York is that, I didn't really appreciate it when I was younger because I was younger and I was ignorant and stuff, so I didn't really appreciate it. But one of the things I appreciate about it now is that it's so diverse, and that's awesome. I mean, I guess if you really like the kitchen, thank you. I mean, nothing special, just I'm gonna tell you how grateful we were because we moved in here last October. What up, lady? We moved in here last October and we were homeless when we moved in. Like, we were living in somebody's garage. It's a very long story. You have to go back to my channel and I documented all of it so you can go back and see. But yeah, we were homeless, so this was our first apartment in 2 years. So it was it meant something to us. You know what I mean? It was our first apartment after 2 years. Like, when I got laid off from work and we wound up having to sell my house because we couldn't afford the mortgage no more. And then so we went and stayed with some friends and family and couch surfed for about 2 years until we were able to. Well, about 2 years until we were able to get ourselves an apartment. So we're very grateful that we got this. Jamie, if you look on Google Maps, search up, I can't even, Warwickshire, you're from that county. Oh, okay. I would do that. Kenia, really? 6'7"? I don't get it, but I don't get the joke. But all right. And Davi, yeah, there is so much struggle. Like there is, it was, it was very different because I went from, we went from, being very, very comfortable to, the struggle. And um, thank you, Kania. I mean, I don't think so, but I'm glad you do. Like, I appreciate it. Thank you. Um, so we went through that, and so we're here, and but I tell you something, and this is not to preach, so I'm not gonna, but I asked for a new life, because I wanted more out of my life, and the downside of that is that you can't have a new life without giving up your old one. So how do I go live on YouTube? Well, I think you have to have a certain amount of creators. I think from a mobile device, I think you can go even on a brand new channel. I think you can go from like a laptop or a computer or something. But I don't know what that number is. All right, bro. Have a good one. Much love to you too. But thank you. But much love to you too, Kanan. But so I have I've been at it for a little bit, so I don't know what the numbers are. Did you do no, not yet. I haven't done it yet, Jamie, because I'm on the live. But hold on, I look at it right now. Hold on. Let me see. I gotta find Google Maps. And you said, hold on, because I gotta go back. Hold on. Warwickshire. Warwickshire. England, UK. Yeah, let's look at that. Ah, it says Stratford upon Avon, near Birmingham. Your heart is saying, oh, I mean, I appreciate it. Yeah, this is near Birmingham. Oxford is not too far away. Oh, that's pretty dope. Bedworth, like that's the same. That's the same place. Bedworth. Yeah, near Bokington. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah, Bedworth, England. It says it's near Bokington. Like that's where you're at. That's pretty dope. Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see Newlands. Oh, yeah, I do see that. Okay, yeah, I do see that. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty dope. That's what I love about the internet is that you can talk to people from like across the country. I think that's so cool. I'm old enough to remember when you couldn't do shit like that. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that you could do that. But thanks for sharing that with me. That was awesome. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like it's just cool that you can do that. You said I remember um the first online game I ever played was Modern Warfare. Right. And that was the first time I went online, and it was just so crazy to me that I'm sitting here and playing with people in different parts of my country. And there was a guy that played with us often. He was from he was from the UK somewhere. So it's just awesome that you could do that. Like it's crazy. Like I watch a few creators on YouTube that like he's gone to different countries and people recognize him. They're like, oh my god! I'm like, that's gotta be so dope. I mean, I'm sure it has its drawbacks. I'm sure that there's there's downsides to it, but it's like wow, dude. Like, how do you like? I'm in Japan and people know, or Australia and people know who I am. Like that's so dope. People see and they're like, oh my god, like that's so dope. I hope to be like that one day. It'd just be so cool. Like again, I'm sure that there's downsides to it. I'm sure that those creators would say that there's downsides to it, but it just the idea sounds dope. You're like these people. You been to Florida before? What did you think of Florida? I've been to Florida before too. I didn't. I can tell you, I didn't like it. Like I had like this vision of what I thought Florida would be, and so you went to Disney. Yeah, I went to the first time I went to Florida was to Disney. But then I went and moved there for. I was there for like a year, and I was not like the vision I had of what Florida was gonna be like versus what it turned out for me. Like it was completely opposite. It was completely opposite. Like I did not. It did not work out in my favor. In my favor, it did not work out in my favor. So, but it turned out. I'm glad to be. Let's just say I'm glad to be back in North Carolina. But Disney was dope. Disney was a lot of walking. Disney is a lot of walking. And I made the mistake and went, I think if I'm not mistaken, I went in like August, which was like the dumbest thing I could have done. Because it was hot as hell, it was humid as hell, and it was a lot of walking. The first of all, it is crowded there. It is. Like if you're like I'm from New York, so it wasn't as crowded as I've experienced. Hey, okay, Jamie. I hope you subscribe to the channel. Come back and see us later. And happy talking to you, bro. High five and fist bump to you. Um, Florida. It wasn't that I'm from New York City, where there's like 8 million people in that city, so it wasn't as crowded. But compared to North Carolina, yeah, it was very crowded. The traffic was ridiculous. Like, and first of all, I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but Floridians can't drive. Like, there'd be people down there that, like, you get on the highway and people are literally going like 100 miles an hour. Like, and they'll honk at you, like, to get the hell out of the way. Like, it's crazy. It was chaos on the highway. I was not through it. And it's expensive. It's just as expensive as being in New York. It was expensive. Like, you have to pay for everything. A lot of tolls. Yeah, like it was crazy. And like it's very beautiful, don't get me wrong. Like there's a I don't know, there's a certain vibe about Florida that just is just really beautiful, but unless you got that kind of money and the patience, because like I said, the traffic and you know, I wanted to live in Miami, like, and we went down there and like the traffic was crazy. Like Miami is not as clean as you would think it is. Like it was bad. Like I was like, wow. It was an eye opener, and I always wanted to live in Miami. Like that was a city when I was a kid. Shit, after 2 days, I wish we were there for a year. We were there for a year. We got there in February of 2024, and we left July of 2025. We were there a year and a half. Like it was, yeah. And then so many things happened in Florida. Like we got robbed, and I don't mean by pum point, but we Lexi was she was really into crafting, and she had like all this craft stuff, and we wanted to open a store. Obviously we couldn't afford an actual store, so we found a really big flea market in town, and the flea market had been there like 20 something years, and so we went in there, and you can rent booths out and stuff and then sell your stuff, like it was like having a store. And we were told that, she was like, well, she was like, I can give you a bigger space if you go to the slower side of the flea market of the building, because she was like, but we're trying to build it up, like we're trying to get people in with the stuff that we're doing and blah 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 blah, and it was a bigger booth, so we were like, hell yeah, like it was a bigger booth for the price of a smaller booth. So we were like, hell yeah, and we had to pay, the rent, a deposit, and all this, and then buying the stuff so that we can display all our products and everything, and a month and a half later, we got a letter saying that the store was closing, like the building was closing, like it'd been sold and it was closing, which was bullshit because commercial properties don't sell overnight. We chose Florida. Well, so long story. So I'm gonna make it as short as possible. But when I got laid off, then we were forced to sell our house. We decided to sell it versus losing it, right? So we wound up selling it, and our son lived in Florida, and he was like, come down, like you guys can stay with us until you get right and blah 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 and whatever. So that's why we're, and then again, me personally, like, she didn't want to go, and not that she didn't want to see our son, but she knew, she was like, Florida is way more expensive, is more crowded, like compared to where we are in North Carolina. And but like I said, I always wanted to live in Florida. It was a dream of mine since I was a kid. Like I was like, man, I would love, like he was an hour from Miami, and I was like, maybe eventually we can get to Miami and blah blah blah, and so that's why we went. That's why we went down there. And like I said, we had, we invested into something, and yeah, it was reasonable. Like, and my son had just had his son. So we had a new, brand new grandbaby who was going to be around and be there for and stuff like that. So we were excited, um, and, but yeah, like we invested in something to, grow our business, and pretty much got lied to, because like I said, commercial properties don't sell overnight. They don't sell overnight. So if you came and told me a month and a half after I moved in and invested all this money that the building had been sold and they're tearing it down, that means this should happen months ago. And when we came in, you sold us a lie, knowing that the damn property had been sold. And literally, I mean, we spent about 10 grand between the deposit, the rent, the rents for the, 3 months we were there, plus, again, buying, a podium to ring out the little cashier thing, and like everything to set it up, and yeah. And we got, they pretty much lied to our face. And like I said, we were there a month and a half, and they were like, oh, by the way, we're selling. And we were like, I lost it. I was so mad. Like I lost it. Lexi had to send me home that day, because I was like, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like you sold us this dream, knowing that the damn place wasn't gonna exist in a year. So it was like, why stay somewhere there's no longevity? You know what I mean? Like, why stay somewhere there's no, this place ain't gonna be around? What's the point of keep paying rent and stuff like that for, and it's not gonna be around? So like we wound up leaving, and like I said, we had all that. Yes, thank you for keeping the likes up. I appreciate it. And thank you for those that subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. Much love. Thank you so much. And if you're enjoying it, please keep the subscribes coming. I'm trying to get to 1,700 right now. Well, I'm trying to get to 2 grand, but I'm a little far from 2 grand. But 1,700 is the first little goal. Hey, Jamie, welcome back. So yeah, so all that happened, and it was just and then things happened, and we wound up in a hotel, and it was a struggle. Like it was, like I was working, I was doing Uber. I couldn't get a job. Like nobody would hire me for the reasons why I told you yesterday. Like, people would look at my resume and be like, so I'm like, I was doing Uber, and Like if there was a gig app, I was doing it. Like DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber, Roadie, Shift, Walmart, Spark. Like I was doing it all, and still I wasn't making enough money. And people were telling me, I got advice. Oh, go to this town. Like this is like people were telling me go to Boca. Like Boca, there's a lot of rich folk in Boca. Like go over there. They tip well. Those were some of the non-worst tippers that I ever came across. Like it was horrible. And so I made a video one day, and my daughter saw it. And Boca's in Florida. It's in Florida, Boca Raton, Florida. And I made a video one day, and my daughter saw it, and she was like, "Yeah, I need to come home." And she allowed us to stay with her until we were able to get our own apartment. So it was rough. It was rough. And so for that reason, Florida put a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm you couldn't pay me to go back. So, but that was it. It sucked. So, but any more questions? I don't mind answering. Anybody got any more questions? But yeah, it was that bad. So North Carolina was always good to me. Like here's where I made the bulk of my career. Here's where I achieved things for the first time in my life here. So we came back here, and that was it. So if we're not moving to Puerto Rico, North Carolina is home. Hold on, let me turn on the fan because it's hot. So yeah, if we don't make it to Puerto Rico, we're staying right here in Florida. I mean, in North Carolina, excuse me. Like North Carolina's home. Well, I put the topic, like the title of the live, like money doesn't buy happiness. Let's argue. But just because it was an interesting conversation, and yesterday. Hey, Karen, what's going on, bro? High five and fist bump to you, dude. Welcome back into the live. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting conversation, and I wanted to hear what people thought. Like, why do you feel like money buys happiness? Like, what do you do? So I wanted to, I wanted to hear why people felt like that. So if you agree with that statement, that if you feel like money buys happiness, that having a lot of money would make you happy, I like, no judgment. I just want to know why. Like, why do you feel like that? Chiron, I think that, how you say, is that how you pronounce your name? Chiron? Chiron? Is that the correct way to pronounce it? I think that sounds dope. What does it mean? Is that your actual name? Or is that like a pseudonym? That's dope. I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree with you, Mai. Like, it's way better to have money, because at least with money you have options, right? Like, either way it's hard. But at least if you have, some cheddar, that gives you options. Versus if you don't have any, you don't have any options. But does that mean that it will make you happy? Like, not being stressed because you can pay all your bills. Karen, okay. Not being stressed because you can pay all your bills is different from being happy. And don't assume because you have money, you won't be stressed anymore. Because Biggie said, more money, more problems. And that's true. Oh, okay. I go to him. That's dope. I like that. Karen, that's pretty dope. But, so don't assume, that money Not having money means you won't be stressed or you won't have problems, because you'll just have different types of problems. So little problems that you have now, because we're broken, working every day. Like, I mean, those probably you'll be able to pay your mortgage or your rent or your car payment or whatever. But still, it could be Chiron too. Yeah, it could be do that. It could be that. It sounds dope though. I like it. That's pretty dope. But so I just wanted to know what people think. It is in Portuguese. Okay. Is that where you are now in Portugal? That's dope. So I was just wondering, like, I feel like, I like to hear people's opinion about it. Like, what makes you feel like having money would make you solve all your problems, like, or make you happy. And don't get me wrong, it'll park you in front of Happy's house, so you can at least get out the car and see if the fool is there. But it don't necessarily make you. I don't think so. The most miserable I ever been in my life, I had money. I was making good money, and it was not pleasurable at all. Like, eventually it got really old. It got really tiresome. It got really, somebody just asked me this on Threads. Which, by the way, guys, if you I'm on, if you guys are on other platforms and you decided to subscribe to me, I'm everywhere else too. If you don't mind hitting me up there. Let me see if it pops up. If y'all see my name, so if it pops up there, y'all see it. Yeah, that's where I'm at. On pick a platform. That's my name. That's my name everywhere except YouTube. So, but right, that too. And let me tell you something, being responsible with money is a lot harder than people think when you have money. Like, it's a lot harder to manage. It's a lot harder to deal with. Your mother say hello. Hey, Mom. How are you doing? That's awesome. So it's a lot harder to deal with than people think. People think I have money. So it's just so much easier, but it's not as much as you think it is. Mama in the house. That's awesome. So, Kyron, are you in Portugal now? Is like that's where you're at right now? If you answer that question, I'm sorry I didn't see it, but oh, okay. Oh yeah. That's dope. I love this internet crap. Like, it's so dope to be able to talk to somebody in a different country. Like, that's just amazing to me. That's just so awesome. That is just so awesome. So, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're feeling and you like and you're loving the conversations, I do this often. So please hit subscribe and come back. Keep me company. I said I'm trying to make this a thing, man. I got goals. There's so many things that I want to do, and not just for me. Oh, okay. You just speak English, okay? I've learned, and I forgive me if I'm mistaken for this, but I've learned that a lot of different countries outside of Australia, England, or I mean the UK and the US teach English. I hear that a lot. That a lot of places teach English, at least like basic English. So that's pretty interesting. So, I lost my train of thought. What the hell was I saying? But yeah, man, there's so many things that I want to do. Like, there's so many things that, I'm like, I want to accomplish that. I'm hoping my YouTube channel is the root of that. That helps that happen. You know what I mean? Like I want to open a dog sanctuary. I want to do something for homeless because I was homeless, so I experienced that, and I know how bad that is, and I know how much people look down on you for being homeless. For whatever the reasons are. I want to open a food pantry. I want to open a soup kitchen. Um, you know, like I wish I had the money to, like I was hearing how last year, like here in North Carolina, here in just the city that I'm living in, how much, like, how many children had like food accounts on their lunch that they couldn't pay for. And I was like, man, if I had the money to do that, to pay for their lunch, like, and clear their lunch bills, like I would so do that. Like I would definitely do that. Like um a dog sanctuary is like where uh you house dogs that are like they can't find homes, or they're sick, and or you find them like, you know sh- what do you call that, not stranded but stray dogs and stuff like that, where you find them and then you find them homes, and and stuff like that. People could come visit and find homes and stuff like that. Like I would, yeah, like Lexi and I, that's a dream of ours. Like we would love to do that. And one of the reasons why we wanted to go to Puerto Rico is because like the population of stray dogs in Puerto Rico is like ridiculous. It's really big. Because Puerto Rico, most people don't know, is, unless you live like in the big, fancy areas like San Juan and stuff like that, like it's a lot of poverty. So people get dogs and they can't afford it. Um, and they let them loose, and so there's like stray dogs all over the place. So we recently watched the creator who makes he had a dog that who unfortunately crossed the Rainbow Bridge not too long ago, but he found a dog in Puerto Rico. Like he was on vacation, and a stray dog, came upon him and kept finding him every day that he was there. And yeah. So I would love to, yeah, we would love to do that. Like we would love to do that. Like I said, like I made a video. I made a video. Let me see if I can find it. If y'all don't mind that I share it with you. I made a video years ago. I was in my house. I was still living in my house at the time, and I made a video a long time back then that I had dreams. It was one of those videos that is like I want to be able to look back at this video and and feel like I kept a promise to myself. Um, and it wasn't nothing fancy. It was just, again, it was just to mark, to say I said it. And like I said, I want to do it, man. So this was a video. I made this video about 3 years ago, but I uploaded it to YouTube 2 years ago. Rich. I want to be filthy freaking rich. And let me explain why. Because I have big dreams in the next 5 to 10 years. And I just wanted to have a place to document it so I can prove that I said this then and it happening now. So check this out. I want to open a rec center. And the rec center is so that it's something like the Boys and Girls Club, but something just for young boys and young men, all right? To teach them things like how to follow your dreams, like how to chase a goal that you want to accomplish really bad, how to write a resume, how to tie a tie, and generally how to be in. I made that video, like I said, like 3 years ago, and like I said, it wasn't, to be. That video wasn't meant to go viral, but it was just something that I was like, I want to put this down and mark the year, mark the time, so that I can, 5 to 10 years from now, I can look back and be like, I remember when I said that. You know what I mean? And I meant it. Like I meant every word of it. Thank you. And I meant every word of that. I'm very honest. Like I tell you, like. I wanted to, I want to live the kind of life where, I can live on a beach and not worry about, certain things or whatever. But also, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want that, you know what I mean? But also, like, the goal for me to accomplish these things is because, I've experienced all of that. And I just want to do something, that matters. I want, when I leave this world, I want to have something that I can say, I did that, I did that, I did that, and that means more to me than anything else in the world. So, you know, my my I tell you a story. I tell you a story that I heard once, and this grandmother is laying on her deathbed, and she has this guy, the grandson asked this guy to come with him because he was like, I don't know if I can deal with it by myself or whatever. So he asked the guy to come with him, and the guy the guy overheard his grandmother ask him, like, she was like, "Do you know why you don't know your grandfather's father's name?" And he was like, "No, Big Mama, why?" And she told him, she was like, "Because he didn't leave you anything. He didn't leave you anything. That's why you don't know his name." And she told him, she's like, "I need you to be the type of person that your grandchildren's grandchildren will know your name." And like, that was so, I got goosebumps just saying it. That was so deep to me. I was like, wow. Like, I was like, yeah. Like, because think about it. And your grandkids maybe, but their kids, I'm trying. I don't ever see anybody. Like, I don't ever come across. And that's why I'm always saying to you guys, like, I'm trying to, like, put myself in positions to meet people and have conversations, but people don't want to talk. Like, people don't, people don't want to engage, and it's so hard. Like, I don't have experience doing this, so all I'm doing is like what I feel like is the right thing to do. Like I said, I go places, I talk to random people, I try to spark conversations just so that, like, you never know who you're gonna meet. But, when I go out, I try to dress, when I do it on purpose, I try to dress, decent, so that, you don't want to say shit like that and you're like in flip flops and a t-shirt and short, you know what I mean? So, like, I try to do those things. And but this is what I really want to do. Like, these are the things that I really want to accomplish in my life, because I want to leave something behind, and not just for my family, but the goal is to leave humanity a little better than what you found it. And I know that may sound corny to somebody, but that's the honest to God truth for me. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to do something so that people can be like, my grandkids can be like, my grandfather did that. This is my great grandfather's name on the building. He did that, like, because, of this or that. And, I went through a lot of stuff in my life, and I know what it felt like to not have the things that I'm trying to do. So I want to do it. And I'm every day I'm on the lookout for the opportunity. I wake up with the expectation that one day I'm going to meet somebody that's going to change the direction of my life. I try. Like, people, I hear, "Oh yeah, we'll call you." Like, I'm like, I'm willing. I want to volunteer places. I tried the Boys and Girls Club. I've tried, different soup kitchens and stuff. I'm like, "Hey, like, you guys need any help? Like, is this, something?" And like, "Oh, we'll take your information and we'll call you." And I'm like, so I leave my information, but. So I try. I don't, So that's why I resorted to content. I'm like, well, let me document this, let me put it out there, and maybe one day, like, somebody will come into my life, or, like I said, I'll bump into somebody in real life, and it'll change. But I'm hoping, and that's why like I'm trying to grow my subscribers. I'm trying to grow like the money I make because I want to be able to do stuff, and you know I offer my coaching that is like unfortunately it takes money to to trade in the stock market. Like I would love to do that too, but I don't have the extra income to do that. And like I said, that's why I worked, grinded my way up so that I can get monetized on YouTube. And on my videos I offer my coaching services, which is such a diluted and crappy profession to be in because everybody claims to be a coach, and so there's so many phonies and fakes out there that somebody who literally has done it. It's like you know like I have 15 years of coaching experience, and when I was at work it was easy to do, but now I'm not at work, so trying to prove that online to random people was hard. I'm not giving up. I'm not. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm not. Like I want this too. I want this so bad. I do that too. Yes. Yes, man. Yes, I do that too. Like I join different, places and stuff, and I try to offer, tidbits of advice, without even like offering coaching, just I try to offer those things, and people take it. Once in a while I'll get, man, thank you, that really helped or whatever, and I'll throw a soft pitch like, hey, if you ever want to talk, like, okay, I'll check that out. By Ken Honda. I love the name. So, but these are things that I want to do. So, like I said, I try to stick myself out there, and you can't. One of the hardest things that I've ever to deal with is because personality wise, like personally, like, I'm an introvert, so like it's something that I struggle with to I'm like, okay, let me sit here on purpose. Let me put myself out there on purpose. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm sure that shit was loud as hell. But I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I don't plan on clocking out for another few decades or so. So I plan on. I would love to. I would love to do it. I just I do have an iPhone 17. I have a. I have. I don't know what that was about, but I do. Right. And that's what I tell myself. I'm like, you gotta do it. Like you gotta do it. Um, but it, like my mental, like when I go to the pool, and I don't know if I've said this online yet, but if I go to the pool, like my natural reaction is to walk, like to the furthest lane, and stay in there in the corner and just do my workout and then leave. But then I tell myself, like I catch myself, I'm like, yeah, like my allergies, like I don't know why I'm all of a sudden sneezing, like my nose is itchy, but yeah, other than that, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm trying not to snot and sneeze on camera. I'm sure you don't want to see that. But so yeah, I tell myself like I have to put myself in places. I'm jacked, like as in muscular. I used to be, I guess. I mean, I'm not. I don't hit the weights like I used to anymore. I'm kind of physically damaged. But anyway, so I forgot what I was saying. I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, I would love to trade in the stock market and stuff. I would love to get into like my eldest son is a day trader. I mean, while it's slow right now because obviously whatever everything going on, but um, I think it's pretty cool. It's very interesting. It is. It is very difficult. It is. It is very difficult to be outgoing and stuff like that, and because when I know how to do it because my job required that. Like my job was. It is right. The time. It is the time to learn. But again, don't you need money to do that? Like you don't. You can't just. I don't have money to do it. I don't have the extra money to do that. Is what I'm saying. Is what I'm getting at. But like I said, I'm hoping. That's why I keep grinding on the things that I have available to me to grind to hopefully make money so that I can one day have the money to do, try it. But like try a few things, I want to try to, I want to get into investing more. And, people tell you this, like, and I'm not saying you, Miss Elaine, so please don't take it like that. But I've had people say to me, like, right, like, people say to me that, oh, you should have been trading and you should have been investing. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I know that now. That wasn't something taught to me years ago, that wasn't, that wasn't nobody was saying that stuff then. Now that I don't make that kind of money now I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense now. Yeah, I learned a whole lot. Once you lose it all, like you learn a whole lot. I assure you. I assure you. But yeah, like 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 I hear it now, and I'm like, and I totally agree. You need to invest, you need to start trading, you need, do stuff like that, and I'm like, hell yeah, you're right. And I just need I need the income the extra income to be able to do that. But once I can start getting this channel to grow and earn me some change, like I plan to do stuff like that. I watch a lot of videos. I'm gonna read that book you told me. Like I try to teach myself things, and I've learned a lot. Like there's a guy I follow. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Alex Hermosi, but I watch. I listen to a lot of the stuff that he says, even the stuff that doesn't apply to me at the moment. Like I watch Alex Hermosi. I watch Gary V. I watch Andre Jake. I think that's how you say his name. Um, to try to learn and do stuff and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm trying to get my channel to grow so that I can do that too. I mean, we make it, we survive just fine. Like, I have enough to, to live, but I don't have the extra throwaway money to be like, hey, babe, I'm gonna take $500 and invest this into this today or whatever. So, right. Cash secure. Okay. Yeah. I would look into that. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna look into all that because that's you can't be well off and not invest. There's no way to be well off and not invest in something. So whether it be stock or real estate or something like that, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. My aunt got involved in real estate, and that's how she got better. So that's what I want to do. So, but you got to start somewhere. So YouTube is where I start, and like I said, I offer my coaching services for leadership. I've got 15 years worth of leadership experience. I know how to run. I know how to operate businesses. I'm an operator. I've been an operator for almost 20 years. Like so, I'm familiar with that, and so I'm just trying to find the right people while I battle my internal demons, as far as, like I said, trying to be an entrepreneur and an introvert at the same time. So it's not easy. But I every day I get up, like I said, with the expectation that something great is gonna happen, and I just need to consciously put myself in the right positions for that to happen. So that's what I do. That's what I try every day. If you can look at a situation and think of all the bad, then you can look at a situation and think of all the possibilities that can go right. I don't know any rich people to think they're assholes. I don't know. Here's what I think. And because I was just having this conversation just yesterday with Miss Mai here. My job is social media right now. So like I'm on social media like all day long. And I see the things that people post, and I hear the videos that people are like, I feel like there's a lot of people that think that billionaires are obligated to do certain stuff. Like it's like, oh, well, you're a billionaire now, so now you should be doing this and you should be doing that. And which I think is ridiculous, because who the hell are you, or who the hell am I to tell somebody what it is to do with their money? Ain't nobody in this world would be okay with somebody telling them what to do with their money. Like, now, let me say that if I was a billionaire, there are things that I would be doing. Now, I don't know if these people are doing it or not. I don't know if they're doing it or not. Like, I'm not in their world. I don't see their finances. I don't know what they do. But I would do certain things if I was a billionaire. But that doesn't mean that because you're a billionaire that you're guaranteed, like you're obligated to change humanity. Like I don't see it that way. So I feel like people want billionaires to do for them. It's like, well, now you have all this money, so you should be doing stuff to make my life easier. And right, we don't always see it, right? So I feel like it's like you want these billionaires to do for you, and you're mad at the stuff they have. You're mad at tax breaks they have and loopholes and whatever. Like, first of all of us won't. I was about to say something really harsh. Ain't a person in this country that would pay taxes if they didn't have to. Let's make that 100% clear. Ain't a person in this country, in the United States of America, that would pay the government money if they didn't have to. If it was a choice, none of us do it. So the fact that people claim, they get mad, well, billionaires ain't paying their fair share of taxes. Dude, they have loopholes. They have loopholes that are there for them, and they use it. Like, it's there for them. Like, whatever. So you're mad because you don't have access to those same loopholes. That's why you're mad. Now, I agree with that. Like, I don't have a problem paying taxes. I just wish they'd manage it better. But here's another thing, is that people assume that, so if all the billionaires in the world all of a sudden paid, or in this country, all of a sudden paid their fair share of taxes, are you assuming that the government is going to allocate that money the best way possible that's going to benefit our lives? I think if you believe that, there's something wrong with you. Because I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think that if you want the same things that they got, then you need to get up off your ass and figure out how to do that so that you can have that too. Don't be mad at them because there was advantages and there was stuff that they took advantage of and you didn't happen to use it. Like, those things are there for everybody. Now, whether you choose to use it or not, whether you choose to go that path or not, that's on you. But don't get mad because somebody else decided to do that, and now you feel like, oh, because now they made it to a certain level, now they're obligated to do things. Right. Exactly. Like, but there's people that believe that they're like, oh well, if all they did, the life could be so much better if the billionaires just paid their taxes. Like, stop. Like, you really think that they're gonna pay taxes to the government? It goes to the government. It don't come to us. And you really think that overnight or within a year, like all of the problems in the country are gonna be fixed now because they got all this tax money? Like, come on, bro. Like, no, it's not. The rules are there. You don't like them? Start playing by the rules. Do what they do. Don't hate the game. Start playing it. Don't hate the game. Start playing the game. If you hate it so much, start playing it so that you could do the same thing too. But be real. Like, if none of us had to pay taxes, none of us will. I think they are. They are very smart. I agree they should pay more taxes. But if there's if there's an opportunity where they don't, none of us would pay taxes if we wouldn't have to pay tax. None of us ain't a person in this country that would voluntarily pay taxes if they didn't have to, or at least at the amount that they do. No, none of us would. How many places you donate? How many places you donate? If you don't donate, then you wouldn't pay taxes. You happily pay your bills. That's different. I happily pay my bills too. Like, I mean, I gotta survive. But how many people donate? If you don't donate, then don't tell me that you would pay taxes willingly because you don't donate. It's the same thing. I'm donating somebody. I'm giving somebody something for nothing. Like, here you go. If you don't do that, then you wouldn't willingly pay taxes either. Like, wouldn't nobody pay taxes? We pay taxes because it gets taken out of our check. We pay taxes because we don't have a choice. You don't get to go to the store and say, I'm going to pay the price. I'm not paying the tax, though. We don't get to make that choice. That's why we pay taxes. But won't none of us pay no damn taxes if we didn't have to. If we didn't have to pay taxes, if they told you for a year, it's tax free, you don't have to pay it. Like, none of us would. You'd be like, I'll bet. None of us would. You'd be like, I'll bet. My bad, y'all. Well, yeah, exactly. So, and that's awesome. Hell yeah. That's awesome that you donate. I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying you specifically, Miss Elaine. So please don't take it like that. But I'm just saying, like, most of the people that making these complaints don't feel like that. Like, I don't have a problem paying taxes. Like, I don't have a problem paying taxes. Like, as long as my taxes are going to be used to help, like, the funding has to come from somewhere, better roads, better schools, better hospitals, whatever it is, better, programs for the people who need it. Yeah, sure. Like, I'm all for that. Like, I'm all for that. Hell yeah. But if I'm giving you my money, then make that happen. Thank you, Miss Elaine. High five. Fist bump to you. Yeah. Exactly. But again, like I said, if you're gonna take it, by all means, like, I'm all for that kind of stuff. I'm all for that kind of stuff. If everybody does a little something, then people that need it, yeah, by all means, awesome. But that doesn't happen at scale. And I don't want to get into any deeper than that because I don't want this to turn into a political rant. But I'm just saying, like, If you're gonna do what you say that it's for, then by all means, like I'm with that. Like hell yeah, I want better roads. I want better schools. I want better hospitals. I want programs for people that need the help. Right. And then when you need it, you don't get it. Like, you know. So I'm all for it. But I just don't think that I don't believe in the system enough to believe that that's gonna happen if, if all of a sudden all the billionaires decided, okay, well, we'll pay our fair share of taxes. You know, the rich are gonna get richer. Politicians will get richer. They'll, it happens all the time. You read about it you hear about it in the news. You read it in the paper. You read it online, like in the paper. Nobody reads. Who reads papers anymore? But you read about it online, and you know, you hear it all the time. It's like, oh, this person got arrested because they were embezzling this much money, or or whatever. I was just reading here in North Carolina, two women were just arrested because they had a scheme where they stole like almost $170,000 worth of like COVID, some type of COVID funding or whatever. That I'm like, who I'm saying, like, it touches too many hands to be able to track while it's happening. That's why you always find out years later or months later. And then if you give it to one person, then who do we trust to do that? And I think that's where the problem is. So to answer your question, no, I don't know them to say that they're assholes. I don't know the story. I don't know enough about it to make my whatever. Like, I just hear what I say, but not everything you hear is true. Right. And the billionaires know the game very well. That's why they're billionaires. And I just feel like if that's what you want, then you should do it. If you don't want to take those steps, then you can't get mad about somebody taking those steps and doing what they do. That's just how I feel. You know what I mean? Like, if you want that, then you need to put yourself in a position to go do that. And you don't get to, excuse my French, but you don't get to bitch about somebody who did it and now they're not doing what you think they should. And like that's not how it works. I mean, I think they should do more too, but I don't know what they're already doing. So I can say that with a grain of salt. Like, I don't know what they're doing. And then here's the thing. And I'm going to step away and talk about it from a celebrity standpoint. So I was watching two videos happen to pop up on my YouTube feed almost in the same day. And this was about Eminem, the rapper. Regardless of what you feel about his lyrics or music or whatever, but this is what the conversation was saying. So somebody said that, Eminem doesn't love his fans. He doesn't love his city because he doesn't do stuff for his city. He doesn't do anything for the people of Detroit. And then somebody commented and was like, I want to say somebody, like a bunch of people commented that live in Detroit and was like, what the hell are you saying? Like, this guy gives away, every year he gives away free coats to people who need coats in the wintertime. And this is Detroit now, right? Free coats. He has like soup kitchens. He does this, he does that. He's like, don't assume, he's like, you just don't hear about it in the news. So don't assume that it's not happening. Then there's another video that had footage and was saying like, oh, look how Eminem does this and does this and this and this. And then there were people in the comments like, helping people should be about helping people and not, putting it on camera so you can get views and popularity and stuff. You can't win. Like, you can't win. You can't win. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Like, somebody... Well, I agree, and this is my point. This is my point. It's like, what I made it. I built this for myself, and now you feel like because I have this, I should be doing this. Like, that's my point. I don't like, you know what I'm saying? But he does. And then when people see it, now, right, exactly, Elaine. People see it, and then it's like, like one of the people I admire so much is I'm not sure if you heard of Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, who lives 2 hours from me, right? Like he lives here in North Carolina, and I see people all the time that is like, right, he made his money. That's his. Exactly. I see people all the time that critique everything he does. It's like, if he doesn't do this, it's a problem. If he does do it, half the other people have a problem with it. I'm like, bro, like I don't understand what you can't win. Like somebody's gonna be mad. Like, oh, his content is phony. I'm like, dude, this guy's literally all over the world, curing the blind, helping deaf people hear, giving prosthetics to people who need it, buying transportation and building schools and doing and I don't know how to say this correctly, like making water accessible for places that don't have clean drinking water. He's planted millions of trees. He's like cleaned up beaches. It's like, oh, it's all fake. I'm like, again, it's like, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. It's like, well, people don't, and that's what's crazy is that, and that I find that stuff amazing. I would love to do stuff like that. I've applied to him too. Like I've like, dude, I would love to be involved in that. Like, and not to be famous. I just want to be involved in that. Like, I want to be involved in helping people and doing amazing stuff like that. Like, I can get behind that. And it's crazy that you help somebody and somebody finds a problem with that. Like, that's just bonkers to me. And as they shouldn't. And it's hard to feel, it's hard to say that like that because that sounds so derogatory. I don't listen to people beneath me, but when you behave like that, it kind of justifies itself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like I feel there's a lot of people sipping the haterade. Lots of people sipping the haterade. That even doing good stuff is looked upon as something fake and stuff. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like what are you doing to help these people? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? It really bothers me. Like I get so frustrated. I mean, he puts out a video that he does something amazing and the comments, and I'm like, wow, bro. I'm like, you can't win. Like, like, I'm like, you know why he makes it? You know why he puts it on videos? Because if enough people watch it and he gets sponsors and stuff like that, then those sponsors help him achieve some of the goals that he wants to do. Like, I don't know the name of the company, but there's a company that donated the e-bikes that he gave away to people who needed transportation, some form of transportation. He Lowe's has, I don't know if they sponsored, or I don't know how, like, what the business deal is, but Lowe's donated building materials so that he can build the schools that he's doing, so he can fix the plumbing so they can have drinking water. And that's why you make the videos to get attention. And then the brands are like, well, shit, 1 million people are watching this, or millions of people are watching this. Let me get involved, and maybe people will come shop at us and see how good we are. Right. Right. Oh, dude, how dare you wear clothes? How dare you? So it's just really frustrating to me. It's like, man, like, you can't. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. And no matter what you do, somebody has a problem with it. And that's why you should just do whatever you want anyway. Because somebody gonna have a problem with it anyway. So, and people automatically assume, like I said, there's this assumption that if you have money, you should be doing this. But then if you do that, then people find other reasons to complain. It never fails. And the people doing the complaining are people that don't ever do shit. Right. So F those people. Right. You ever notice how the people that know so much are the ones cheering, are the ones screaming from the bleachers? They're not on the field doing anything. They're just screaming from half a mile away on what you should do and what you could have done and what you did. Meanwhile, you don't do shit. The same people that was like, hey, do you want to donate $1 to this? And you say no all the time, which is, you're right. I'm not saying you have to. It's your right. But then don't complain about people who do. Like, I don't understand that. So it boggles my mind. So exactly, right? Like, I don't get it. So I don't know, man. Like, this world is something else, and the things that people complaining about, I'm like, wow. Is somebody trying? Like, when did, again, I said this yesterday, but when did trying become a bad thing? When did trying to do something positive become such a bad thing? Like, it's always, that should just, I don't understand. Like, it was like, I'm trying to spread a good message. Oh, you just trying to get views. Okay, well, I mean, if that's how you feel, I guess it worked because you're watching. Like, like, you know, it really does. Yeah, that happens too. He's like, people, I, yeah, yeah, or single people that have been divorced 30 times trying to tell you how to have a happy marriage. Like, like, mm, like somebody does that all the time. Like, my nephew is autistic, and somebody always trying to. I'm like, you have autistic children? You have special needs children? No, then shut the hell up. Like, what do you know? Like, you have no idea what it's like. And there's a difference between working with them and living with them and raising them. Like, it's a, you work with them. You just go home at the end of the day. There's certain things you ain't got to deal with. Like, people, I think the biggest problem. I think the biggest problem in humanity is that so many people are so worried about what other people do with their lives. Yeah, they're giving lessons on autism, right? And like, do you have you have like, this is what you do? Well, no, like, I just have a cousin that, like, shut up, lady, like, shut up, dude, mind your business. Like, you're giving advice on shit that you have no idea. You've never experienced this. You've never, like, you don't have to live with it. You ain't got to deal with it, and you're the one giving advice. Like, but that's what happens all the time. But I feel like people are too consumed with other people do with their lives. Why is what I do with my life any of your business? Why do you care so much? Why are you so worried about what somebody else is doing? Is your life so boring that you're worried about what somebody else is doing? I was on Threads the other day. Somebody was like, I really hate when people come outside in sweats. I'm like, why does that bother you? Yeah, exactly. Spend that time. Exactly. Do it. Do anything you hate that you feel like that bothers you, and see what it is. Yeah, but she was like, this lady was like, well, I really hate when people come outside in public in sweats. So I'm like, like, you hate it? Like, you hate when other people do it? Like, I don't understand why that's such a concern for you. Like, I get, like, I hate wearing sweats in public, so I don't do it. And you'd be like, okay, well, I can respect that. But you hate when other people do it? Like, that's weird. That's weird that you're so focused on what I'm wearing that it bothers you. Like, and that's what I feel like is the problem with everybody, that people are so concerned with somebody else is doing with their life. Or why he do that? What? You don't have kids? That's selfish. Seem like, what? What? If you work this kind of job and you're this old, then something's wrong with you. Really? Why are you worried about it? Oh, get a real job. Why does that concern you? Like, why are you worried about how I'm living? Are you paying your bills? Are you paying your bills? If you're paying your bills, I'm not asking you how you paying your bills, because you know what? I don't give a damn. Why are you worried about how I pay my bills? Like, I don't get it. But I feel like that's the problem with a lot of the issues in the world can be fixed if people just mind their own business. Like, live your life. Are you so worried about what somebody else does in their life? Like, I just don't get it. To judge them enough, you care enough to judge them for what they do in their life. Like, I don't understand that at all. Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, when oh, he drives this, or she drives that, or she doesn't do this, or he doesn't do that, and I'm like, why does that concern you? Like, I don't get it. So, but if you ask me, I think that's the problem with everybody. It should be like a shock collar or something. When people go minding other people's business, it should automatically shock you. Like, mind your business. Mind your business. And people don't learn. Like, you ever seen the consequences of when someone's not minding their business? Like, you ever seen a crash? You ever seen an accident on the road, and then like there's another accident afterwards because somebody was too busy trying to see what the accident was about, so they caused another accident? Like, mind your business. Mind your business. Keep on driving. Like, ain't got nothing to do with you. I just think that that's the problem with the world, with people. Like, people so concerned with what other people are doing to the point where they judge. Like, we're all different. Different races, different nationalities, different experiences, different religions, different genders, different backgrounds. Like, we're all different, and somehow, if you don't behave how I behave, that's cause for me to judge you. Like, that just is bonkers to me. That shit is just why that shit would never not be weird to me. That people are so focused on, they care so much about what somebody else is doing. And you hear people say, like, in the content world, you hear people say, just do it. Nobody cares what you're doing. That's a damn lie. People do care. People care a lot. They care so much that they watch and then leave negative comments, or they critique you. Right. 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 People will come do it. Right. It's so true. Like, it I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, and that's why, like, I don't, people look at me weird when I'm like, I try hard not to judge. I'm like, I don't, and I'm not saying that I'm zero, because I'm not perfect. Like, there are moments that, yeah, I am judging you, but for the most part, like, I try really hard not to judge. I'm like, I don't know this person's situation and why they had to do what they're doing, or why they had to wear what they wore, or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's why when Miss Nelson was, when Miss Elaine was like, do you think billionaires are assholes? I don't know. I don't know them. I don't know what they do and they don't do. Right. And you got exactly. And that happens with everything. Like, I've been told, like, if you want somebody to start running with you or working out with you, just go start working out on yourself. And eventually, when these people see, like, the progress, and they see something, eventually people will start, they'll be like, hey, I'm going to come work out with you today, or I'm going to go running with you today, or whatever it is. So if you want to do something, just start doing it. If you want people to do something, you just got to start doing it. And that works with damn near everything. So, but I try not to judge. I try not to, I don't, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I tell you, a very powerful video, if you've never watched it, Chick-fil-A a few years back made a video. It's called Everybody Has a Story. Look it up. If you're ever bored one day while you're sitting on the toilet and scrolling, look up Everybody Has a Story on YouTube, or just Google it. It's only like 2 minutes long, maybe. It's a very powerful video. Like, if that shit don't make you think, or open your eyes after you see that video, then there's something wrong with you. Right. People want, and that's another thing, is that people want the results they don't want to do what it takes to get to the results or the secret. You're like, what's the secret? Nothing. I just did it. Like I just did it. That was something that I used to tell my managers all the time when. So I used to do like little competitions, or even the company would do little competitions, whatever, to boost a sale on a particular item, or to call attention on something or whatever. So we would do attention, and we would run little competitions, and I would have my managers come to me, and they'd be like, how is so and so doing that? Like Dylan, the guy, this Dylan character person, he was like my head. He was my shining star. Like he was always exceeding, which is why he took my place when I left. But he was always exceeding, and we would be in a meeting, just my team, and people would ask like, well, how is Dylan doing this, and what's he doing to do this, and Dylan's the secret always was, I just ask, I put energy into it. That's it. That's literally, people say like, well, how do you sell more of this? I'll tell you the secret. You just got to ask more people. You want more people to shake your hand? You got to stick your hand out for people to shake your hand. And not everybody ain't going to shake it, but you'll get more people to shake your hand if you put it out there for people to shake your hand. You want more people to smile at you? You're going to have to start smiling at more people. Everybody ain't going to smile back, but you don't need everybody to. Right. Nike said just do it. You don't need everybody. People are like, oh, well, 10 people turned me down. And you're like, okay, well, how many people didn't turn you down? You're like, oh, well, 5 people. I'm like, okay, how many people did you have yesterday? 1? Well, you got 4 more people today that gave you what you want or what you asked for that didn't. Here's the best analogy I ever heard on this concept. A Major League Baseball player can get paid millions and millions of dollars if he gets a hit 3 times out of every 10 at-bats. Look up Aaron Judge, one of the biggest names in baseball these days, and look at his batting average. Like, look at his batting statistics. It's like .3 something, which is like 30%. 30%. Out of every 10 at-bats, he hits the ball 3 times. And makes millions of dollars. That dude's a millionaire. He every time he comes to bat, every 10 at-bats, he hits the ball 3 times. Don't nobody care about them misses. Don't nobody care about those misses. Who cares? Babe Ruth struck out 1,000 times. He wound up with 714, 15 home runs. You don't hear about those 1,000 times he struck out. You hear about them home runs, though. And that's the best concept I ever had. Like, that's the best way to explain that. Like, you don't need everybody to do it. You just need enough people to do it. Right? Like, people think you got to be on all the time. No, you don't have to be on. You don't have to. I used to tell my managers that all the time. I'm like, dude, so like, we used to sell. So I worked in a lube shop, right? So air filters was something that we used to sell. The budget for air filters was 17%. That's what the company wanted you to hit. 17% of your monthly customers should have bought an air filter from you. 17%. You know how low that is? 17%? Not 65, not 75, not 100. 17%. You don't need everybody to buy. You just need enough people to buy. And I used to tell them all the time, I'm not telling you to sell to everybody. I'm telling you to ask everybody. So we used to sell car engine. Like I worked in an oil change spot, and part of the service was that we pulled your air filter for you to show it. He'd be like, hey, You might miss mine. This is your air filter. Do do you want to buy it? If you don't know what it is, I'll explain it to you. Whatever, right? So the goal every month, the company's goal was 17% in air filter sales. That was it. 17% out of 100. 17%. That's it. And people were struggling. I'm like, dude, and they're like, I'm like, well, how many people do you ask? If you only ask 17% of your customers, then yeah, you're not gonna hit that 17%. But if you ask, I'm like, well, not everybody needs it. I'm like, I'm not telling you to sell to everybody. I'm telling you to ask everybody. You ask, hey, this is your air filter. Do you want to replace it? And let people decide, yes or no. But if you don't ask nobody, the answer is always no. The answer is always no. If you're trying to do something, you trying to grow something, whether it be a business, YouTube, but no matter what it is you're trying to grow, you're trying to learn something, you're trying to do. If you don't ask nobody, the answer is always no. Period. So you got to ask. So again, if you're doing something, let me tell you something. I've had customers that I thought that air filter was pretty damn clean. And they're like, yeah, replace it. Like, there's some people that replace an air filter every time they get an oil change. They're like, that's something that they do. And then I've had people where the air filter was literally falling apart and people wouldn't replace it. But again, you don't know who's who. So you got to ask. You got to ask everybody, hey, Miss Mine, this is your air filter. You want to replace it? Miss Elaine, this is your air filter. You want to replace it? If they say yes, cool. If they say no, end the story. Move on. But if you don't never ask people, if you're trying to grow and you never put yourself out there and you never ask, then air filter specifically. But if you never ask, if you never try to put yourself out there, if you never try to, then the answer is always going to be no. It's going to be no. So you got to ask. You want to date that guy? Go find out. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you want to date that girl, the girl of your dreams, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Oh, no, not air filters, okay. You know? You want that job? Did you put in the application? No, okay. Answer's no if you don't do it. Like, if the answer's no, then I find out why. And then go from there. But if the answer's yes, you never know. If you don't put the application in, you're never going to know. If you don't go approach that woman, then you're never going to know. If you don't approach that guy, you're never going to know. So you gotta ask. You gotta put yourself out there. So, and that's, give me a hot second. Give me a hot second. So, everything, I don't know, man. I think that's the key to everything. Like, you want things out of life, you gotta go get it. If you look for an excuse for everything, that's all you're gonna have. Excuses. And I'm guilty of that too. Like, I'm here talking, like you hear me talk, but there are things that I kick myself in the ass too that I'm like, damn, I didn't even try to do that. I just told myself, no, I didn't even try. But you have to try. Like, you have to try. Like, So, I tell you, Ms. Mai, so did you see the video? So if you guys don't know, I was in the military. I served 5 years in the Army, and the whole time, like, it was very toxic. My relationship with the military, it didn't go really well, and I got out. And when I got out, I didn't get out on good terms, and I was told that I'll never amount to shit. And that set a fire under my ass to prove to the military, even though they're not gonna see it, but they're not gonna care or whatever. But it set a fire under my ass to prove to them that I was gonna be somebody. I was gonna make something of myself. And I never asked. I never applied. Like I got hurt. Like I went through a lot in the military, and I wound up getting hurt. And there was some things, some psychological things and stresses and PTSD and stuff like that. And I never applied to it because I was so bitter that I was like, no, I was young and dumb, so please don't get offended by what I'm about to say, but I was like, fuck the government, fuck the military, like whatever, like I don't care, I don't want nothing from them or whatever, and that was my position for 20 years until I got laid off, and it was hard for me to find a job because now I'm dealing with physical limitations, like a lot of physical limitations, and so it was really hard for me to get a job. And my wife and daughter, finally, they're like, babe, like, my daughter was like, you need to at least try. Like, if they say no, then they say no. Like, but you need to try. And I did. After 21 years, I finally put it in. And I had to explain myself. And part of the struggle was that I had to relive some things that I was dealing with. I had to relive those moments and tell those stories, and it was hard. If you've never dealt with any kind of trauma or anything in your life, then you know that it was hard. Then you know that it's hard. And right. And so I put it in, and I put it in July of 2025. Well, in March of this year, 2026, I was awarded. I got my compensation, and I was able, I'm able to go to the doctor now through them. I get paid every month through them, and because I get, I finally got heard from the story, which I'm not gonna go into because it's emotional, but I finally got heard. And somebody listened, somebody finally listened. But if I never put that in, if I would have never put that in, the answer would have been no for however long it took me to put it in. And then most recently, thank you, Mai. And then most recently, after a few months, I think this was in July again of this year, I was laying in the bed and I was like, I wonder now if I'm, now that I'm, I got approved and I'm compensated and everything is documented. Now, if they find me okay to get a VA home loan, and now my attitude was different. Now my attitude was like, well, fuck it. Like, worst they can say is no, right? Like, worst they can tell me is nah. You're not gonna get it. So I put it in. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna put it in. I threw it in there, and then 3 or 4 days later, this was a Friday, so I had to wait for the weekend. But I want to say by the next Friday, by a week, I got approved. I got the letter that I was approved, which I made the video about. I got the letter that I was approved. And again, the answer would have been no had I not asked. So all you have to do is ask. If they say no, they say no. For the compensation, for the money part of it, no, I wasn't afraid of the denial. What I was afraid was I was afraid that nobody would listen to me and the things that I had to say and the reasons, I felt like nobody listened to me, and that was the argument that I had when I was going through that. It was like nobody was listening to me, and I would complain, I would say things, many times I wound up in my commands. I was a kid, I was a baby, I was 22 years old, 23 years old, like just starting life, like trying to figure it out. I had 2 kids, I was on my second marriage already, like I was I needed guidance. And I got the suck it up soldier, be a man, and move out and whatever. I thank you guys for the likes. I thank you so much for the likes. Let me just say, I've been seeing them and I haven't acknowledged you, and I apologize. Happy for the likes. If you're liking the conversations, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe to the channel. I do this at least once a day, on top of my, my video content. So if you're liking this, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to. If you've been following, then you understand why this is so important to me and what I'm trying to do. And I'm hoping YouTube is my gateway to do it. So if you're loving the content, please hit the subscribe button and come back for more. Thank you. So no, it wasn't the denial. It was the fact that, I felt like nobody was listening to me, the things that I had to say. And I got the same toxic, man up, soldier, be a man, swallow it and move on and whatever. And I was dealing with like some really crazy shit. And I didn't get here, I didn't get heard and stuff. So it was about dealing with that and going through that all over again. It was about feeling that sense of helplessness and not being heard and not being understood, that nobody wanted to listen to me because I was a man. Because I was a man, nobody wanted to hear the stress that I was going through, the shit that I was, forced to deal with and stuff like that. And so I was dealing with that. So, but it was different, when I went to, like, for instance, my psychic evaluation, or my psych evaluation, excuse me. And the lady that did it, she was like, yeah, she's like, I hear this shit all the time. She's like, I've been doing this for 60 years. She's like, I hear this all the time. And it's the same story. And she's like, this happens so much. And she's like, it's a little different now. It's better. Like, people understand more. But, things like trauma and PTSD and bipolar and IED and all, like, things like that, like, you didn't hear those 30, 40 years ago. You didn't hear those terms. If you were dealing with people, just thought you was crazy or you was off or something was wrong with you or whatever. You didn't hear that kind of stuff. So now there's names for the shit that people deal with, and now there's understood. And when I explained it to her, like, when I walked out of that office, she was like, you're gonna get, obviously I can't tell you what you're gonna be compensated, but she was like, you're gonna be compensated for something, because this is all textbook. You have to keep going, because if you're in hell, why would you stop? Why would you stop if you're in hell? The only way to get out of hell is to keep moving. You have to get to the other side. Figuratively speaking, obviously. But you have to get to the other side. If you're in hell, you're dealing with shit, why would you stop right there? Why would you give up and say, okay, this is it. This is where I'm going to die. Why would you do that? You wouldn't do that, right? So the only way to get out of it is to keep moving. Moving is going to build the progress. It's going to build your confidence. It's going to build. When you look back, when you get to the other side of what you're dealing with and you look back, I promise you'll say, I did that shit. I promise you'll say, I did that shit. I did that. I got through it. So you just got to keep moving. And it's hard. And let me tell you, people will tell you this shit and it sounds so fucking easy, but it's not. It's hard. It's hard. It's demoralizing. It's stressful. It makes you want to pull your hair out. Like, when I was dealing with homelessness and living in a living in a hotel and on the verge of, living in my car and stuff like that with my wife and dog, like, I cried every night when my wife was asleep. I cried every night. Every night I shed tears. But every morning I had to keep going. Every morning I had to figure this out. Like, I have to keep moving. I have to keep going. I have to keep going. I have to keep going every day. Because the alternative is what? Die in that hotel room? Not make it out? Like, that wasn't an option. I wasn't ready to check out yet. You know what I'm saying? So if you're listening and you're going through that, and you're going through something, the only way is to keep going. And I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. It's not. It's not going to be easy. There ain't nothing easy about that. But you have to keep going. And that's all I did. I couldn't. My biggest problem was that I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to be another Hispanic male that grew up in a fatherless home, that blah, 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 blah. That's right. You never give up. That's when it's over. That shit sounds corny and cliche and all of that, but it's the truth. The moment you give up, that's when it's over. You give up, you say, I'm done, that's when it's over. But if you don't do that, you keep moving, at some point you're going to get to the end of the tunnel and you're going to see the light. But you'll never get there if you stop. Imagine if you need to go to the store, you need to go to Walmart for toilet paper, and every day you get halfway down and you turn around. Or you get halfway down and you just stop. You'll never get to the toilet. You'll never get what you need from the store. The only way to get there is to go through it. And like I said, what most motivational speakers and what most people would say, they make this shit sound like they want to have, like they have young kids, or exactly. It does, and and understand that reason doesn't have to make sense to nobody else but you. That reason ain't got to make sense to nobody else but you. Like I said, for me, I didn't want to be a statistic. I did not want to be a statistic. I didn't want to be another number and name on a piece of paper. Like, I couldn't do it. I didn't want that for myself. So I had to keep going. I had to keep pushing. I made it out of my childhood, my trauma, the stuff that I went through, because I didn't want to be a statistic. I had to keep going. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I don't care how long it takes me. And you have to remember that success isn't where where you started. It isn't how far you made it. It's how far you made it compared to where you started. Because we don't all start on the same starting line. Some of us start halfway down. Some of us, we're not all in the same boat. We're all in the same ocean. Some of us are in yachts, while some of us are in rowboats that are leaking. So, but if you want it bad enough, you got to figure it out. And again, it's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. And that's hard to do. That's hard to do. And there's a lot of people that do that. When people heard about the things that I went through and the stuff that I was going through and all of that, and how I felt like mentally or whatever, and people were like wow, like I never knew. And I'm like, you weren't supposed to. You weren't supposed to. You couldn't do anything for me. I had to get through it myself. I had to keep going. The first time I spoke to a psychiatrist, that lady told me, she was like, you don't know how strong you are, because there's people that have dealt with, who suffer from the things you suffer with, who are in jail or gone right now. And the fact that you're sitting in my office, a free man and still alive, like that just means so much. Like, you don't know how strong you are. And you don't know how strong and most people don't know how strong. Most people don't know how strong they are until being strong is all they have. Most people don't know how strong they are until being strong is all they have left. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so You just got to keep going. Keep going, keep asking. Don't be ashamed to don't be too ashamed to ask questions and whatever, cuz you don't know what you don't know. And but I don't know who said it. I don't know who said it, but there was a celebrity that said, "You want to know who your real friends are, who your real friends and family are? Lose a job, get sick, or go through hard times, and you'll see who your real friends are." Because let me tell you something. I thought I had friends at my last career, people that I helped grow and move and do things. And the moment I stopped working there, phone calls stopped, the friendship stopped. People like, so yeah. You want to know who your friends are? Go through hard times, and you'll see. And that's a fact. Right. Your phone will literally stop ringing. Excuse me. So, that is a fact. So, literally, I thought I had friends. And the moment I was going through, the moment I left, that my world got turned upside down. My phone never rang. Nobody looked for me. Nobody wanted my advice anymore. Nobody wanted to hear my words of encouragement. Nothing. No, how you doing? Nothing. My own mother didn't even do that. So, anyway, Miss May, I'm going to hop off here because I am hungry. Right, nobody cares. Well, I thought you were the only one, but I stay on if people are on. But no, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares unless you can tell them what it does for them. You know what I mean? And and what kills me most is not only do people not care, but then they judge you. It's like everybody goes through stuff. If you're judging, it's because you never went through something that knocked you on your ass. And that's why I try really hard not to judge people, because I went from the bottom to the top. I went from the bottom to the top, and I went from the top to the bottom. And you are quite welcome. That's what I do. You could be up one day, and tomorrow the flip gets switched and everything goes south. And then what do? And don't think that it can't happen to you, because it can. It can. I didn't ever think that was going to happen. I never thought in a million years that I would have got laid off from that job. After 17 years, I was like, after 10 years, I was like, wow, I'm here. This is my career. Like, I don't know how to do anything else. Yeah, exactly. So, that's the way it is. And like I said, people don't care. The moment you're not useful to them, they'll be like, all right, ghost. Like my phone, the only time my phone rings, it's one of my children or my wife. Excuse me, Alexi. And my phone, for 17 years, my phone would not stop ringing. And now, people that I've known for years, like I said, I help people buy houses. I help people get promoted, teach them how to, help them with accomplishments in their stores and for them to grow and, make money. I took a guy that when I promoted him, this guy was making $200 something every 2 weeks because of child support. He was making $200 something every 2 weeks because of child support. And when I promoted him, he was in the hospital. When I called to tell him, hey, I want him to run one of these stores or whatever, he was in the hospital because his woman was giving birth to his newest kid at the time. I don't know if he has new kids in the last couple of years, but and then at the newest time, he was making $200 something. This guy couldn't even eat. $200 something every 2 weeks. That's what he was making. And I promoted him. And by the time I promoted him, I put him in the biggest store in the city that his store was located in. Um, and this guy 2 years later bought a house. Something that he thought he'd never do. And the moment I stopped working, he wouldn't even answer my phone calls no more. Every time I call, he wouldn't even answer. I text, he wouldn't even answer. And this is somebody I did something like that for. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. It hasn't. And he can't even now because I changed my phone number since then. But he can't now. And I did. These are the things I did for him. And not because it was my job to do that. It wasn't my job to do that. But I cared. I saw potential in him. So I wanted him to grow. I wanted, and I did that. I put my job on the line to get him promoted. I told my boss, I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely, Miss Elaine. Yeah. And you have to have boundaries if you're a giver because takers don't have any. I didn't see what you said, Miss May. Hold on. I didn't see the last thing you said. Yeah, because you think, and I didn't want nothing for them. I didn't want nothing from him but his friendship. Like, I thought we were friends. I thought we were brothers. And so, let me tell you something. When I took over that job, when I realized that I was going to be somebody's leader, I was going to be in a leadership position, I took it upon myself. I said, their professional and personal development is now my responsibility. Like, these people have to be in a much better place than the day they started working for me, because then what else was I here for? So, probably one of the reasons why I don't get promoted, I don't get a job, is because when people ask me, like, what are my accomplishments were their accomplishments. Those are the things that mattered to me the most. I had 3 employees buy their first house while they were working for me. 3 of them. Like, if that's not success story, I don't know what it is. If they're running businesses, if they're running stores, and they're doing so well that they are able to buy a house, money, credit, all that, like, I don't see how that's not an accomplishment for me. Like, I had 3 employees buy their first house while they were working for me. I had an employee that, and I hate to say the word employee. I keep saying it, and I hate to say the word employee. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Yeah. And that's why I changed my number. I'm like, at this point, yeah, now that I'm here and I'm doing better, don't call me now. Like, none of y'all were, and not to say that I needed y'all to, put me up or feed me or anything like that, but damn, like, y'all, nobody checked on me, nothing. So I changed my number. I'm like, at this point now, nobody needs to contact me. So, what was I saying? So I had 3 employees buy their first house while they were working for me. I had an employee buy his first brand new vehicle working for me. I had a lady who owned her house and owned her car. Like, she had an older car, she had an older house. But what was important to her was that she didn't have a washer and dryer in her house. So she had to go somewhere to wash clothes, and she had 2 kids. And the day she bought her washer and dryer, she called me crying. She was like, "You don't understand what this means to me. Thank you so much." She said, "I can wash clothes at home now." Like, that was what was important. So when somebody asked me what were my accomplishments, those were my accomplishments. I trained my guys well enough to do the job to the best of their ability, to where they can accomplish those personal achievements in their life. To me, that's an accomplishment. That's more of an accomplishment to me than to say, well, I was district manager of the year, I was general manager of the year, I had $4 million stores that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about where my stores are located, none of them were in big cities. So this wasn't New York, Miami, or anything like that. Like this is like Jacksonville, North Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina. So, those are the things I did. I mean, she don't talk to me. None of them talk to me. None of them talk to me. I don't have communication with any of them anymore. And like I said, at a certain point, I changed my number because nobody was calling me. So I was like, now once I got here and things got stable with me and Lexi, that we're like, okay, we have a home now, like it's stable. I changed my number. I was like, ain't no point. When I got my disability money, and now I knew I was gonna get money every month, and I got my retro pay and all that, I changed my number. I was like, yeah, I'm done. Like I don't need anybody to call me now. Nobody was calling me when I was stressed and broke and crying and to check on me. So don't bother. Don't bother. So, but those are the things that I accomplished. That when I go to an interview, people ask me, and I'm like, those are the things I accomplished. To me, that means everything. If you have employees that are achieving personal achievements in their life, like what better compliment is that? What better compliment is that? So, I mean, you have employees that are struggling and doing, then I feel like something's wrong. Like then this person is not achieving as much professionally to help them personally, and that was my goal. Like I said, when I took that position, I wanted them to be in much better positions when I left. And and this is why I say I have coaching experience, because I didn't tell them things that were job related. I told them things that were life related. This is life. Now you can apply this wherever you go. You can apply it here. But this is life. This is how life is. This is what works. This is how it works. And if you want it, you got to go get it. And you got to be willing to do the things to go get it. And they did. I remember the first time I called a female manager. I had a female manager, right, who was very capable. Now, this is the automotive world, so just to give you context, well, she was, when I took over the district, she was already, like, when the manager of a particular store wasn't there, she was the one in charge. Like, everybody listened to her, and she wasn't even a manager. And I convinced her to be an assistant manager. I'm like, girl, like, you're doing it already. Like, let me pay you for it. Like, you're doing it already. And she, eventually accepted and whatever. And then she continued to grow and she learned and stuff like that. And then eventually I had a store. These two in this city, there was two stores kind of, I mean, they were across the street from each other, but they were like separated. They weren't like directly across the street. And so one store opened and I'm like, hey, like I got this store, like, and she took it. But within the first month, she wanted to quit. And we talked. I took her out. One thing I did was that I never, like certain things, I'm like, all right, let's go out to eat. Let's go somewhere. Let's sit down. Let's eat, which I paid for. And, let's talk. So we get away from the drama of the store. We get away from the frustration of the store and stuff. Like, let's go somewhere and eat. So after work, I took her out and we sat down and we talked. And, she was stressed. Like, she was a female in a man's world, and she wasn't getting any respect from her employees or from the customers. And I told her, I was like, look, I get what you're feeling, and what you're feeling is valid. I said, unfortunately, I can't change that culture. Only you can. I was like, unfortunately, you're right. You're a woman in a man's world, and you're gonna have to, according to all these people, you're gonna have to perform twice as good and work twice as hard as any man to be considered half as good. I'm like, that's not right. It's not ethical. It's not the right thing to do. But that's how people are gonna see it. Like, unfortunately, this is what people's mindsets are. They're like, oh, this is a mechanic shop, and this is a woman running it. Like, what the hell does she know? Unfortunately, that's how people think. So I don't agree with them. But if you want it, you're gonna have to prove that you know what the hell you're doing. Go in there and be the woman that I know you could be, and the manager that I know you could be, and show them why they need to respect you. And she did. She kicked ass. I'm good. Like, if you gotta get off, I understand, but I'm good. Let me finish telling you the story, and I'll go. So she did. She wound up kicking ass, and in 2018, I promoted her. I think in 2016, and in 2018, she was the general manager of the year of the company, of the entire company, 156 stores. She was the general manager of the year. So, like, she kicked ass. Her first bonus, I remember the first time I told her bonus, I think her first bonus was like $2,700. And when I called her, so I used to send it. I called, this was her first one. So I called her and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Whatever. And she was like, all right. So I told her, I said, you want to know what your bonus is? And she was like, yeah. And I told her, and like I said, I want to say it was above $2,500. It was at least $2,500. And she stopped breathing on the phone. She stopped breathing. She literally gasped. And I'm like, hello? I'm like, you're right? You're there? And she started crying. And yeah, it was like, and, I'm like, you gotta, I'm like, those are the things that I did. I'm like, you want to be like, I'm like, you can, do all this stuff. But if you don't show that, oh yeah, I every month when those guys got their bonus, I would get a phone call. every month during the month. I'm sure they were cursing me out. This fucking asshole, like he's blah 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 blah. I'm sure they were cursing me out. But when I would text them. So I called each one of them for their first bonus, with the first time they made a bonus. But afterwards, I would just send them around that time when I would get them. Because I would get them from my boss, and then I would tell them individually what they were. And when I would get them, I would just text them with a random dollar amount. And yeah, and I would get phone calls for the rest of the day. Yo, boss, thank you for pushing me, man. I appreciate it, dude. Like, you don't know how much this is helping and changing my life. And I used to think it was funny. Like, yeah, I'm an asshole, but it's for your benefit. It's for your benefit. But, again, like I told them, I was like, I want you to succeed. You succeeding means I'm succeeding. So I want you to succeed. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I used to tell them all the time, I don't never have to worry about my bonus as long as you guys are bonusing. I want you guys to bonus. And they never heard me one time mention my bonus. Never once. Now, those text messages I used to send Lexi my bonus. I'm like, hey, babe, this is my bonus for the month. But never once did I tell them that I ever preach about my bonus. It was always their bonus. Like, this is what, like, and that type of job, nobody worked for their base pay paycheck. Everything was their everything was, you worked for that bonus. Your base pay was not enough to deal with the bullshit you was doing. But when you're making, $2,000 to $3,000 bonuses every month, like that makes it a big difference. And so yeah, they would, and that's why, like I said, it hurt, because when I went through this and I was going through it, I was like, damn, like some of those guys were with me the entire 10 years as a district manager. And I'm like, I thought we were friends, and apparently not. Apparently, that didn't mean as much to them as it did to me, and then it kind of sucked. But I can only hope that they learned something from my time with them, and they're doing really good. They're prospering in their new endeavors and stuff. Yeah, it did hurt. It did hurt really bad. It did hurt. Like, it would have been nice to hear, damn, boss, like, I hope you make, I hope you're doing it right. You keep your head up, like, whatever. Like I said, I wasn't expecting none of them to, fund my lifestyle, but, get me an apartment or something like that. Just some words of encouragement, just to, hey, man, like, keep going. Like, you'll make it through it. If anybody can make it through it, you do something, but nothing. None of them. I didn't get one phone call. So, All right, now I'm gonna go eat because I'm literally hungry. My stomach is growling. So I appreciate. Oh, what's on my nose? Did I have that in my entire face? In my face the entire time? Anyway, thank you, Miss May. Ms. Mine for being in here. Thank you, Miss Elaine, if you're still in here. And I appreciate it. I'll be doing this again tomorrow. So if you're not doing nothing, catch me outside. Peace. Thank you.